Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's going on?
This is Tony.
And I'm Jenny.
And we are Lido Loca, and this is the Lido Loca podcast.
Episode 19.
Episode 19. Welcome back to the podcast. Man, oh man, another interesting week in cruising. Jenny, the news isn't getting any better.
It's not, and you know, you just kind of almost want it all at once.
Yeah, could you just give us all of the news at once so that we can process it? It's been a mixed week of news, right?
Right.
Carnivals, they've come up with this new exotic plan to get cruising again with just a few ships and a few ports. It could happen.
Absolutely.
August the 1st, that's what they're saying, but who knows?
And it's just a couple of their ships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. I mean, they've got the small ships, they got the large ships, but there's still nothing really super clear. So this is mid-May.
Mid-May.
And that's 2.5 months until the beginning of August. And so much stuff has changed in 2.5 months. So we're just kind of waiting and seeing. Other cruise lines extending cancellations, Princess, Celebrity, MSC. Look, the news hasn't changed much there. So I thought in today's podcast, we would talk about some of the things that have changed in our lives because of not only cruise cancellations, but because of this pandemic all the way around. Now, yesterday we celebrated Mother's Day.
Right.
And it was super weird.
It was very weird.
Yeah, so my mom lives there in Knoxville, Tennessee, and she's there by herself.
Right.
This time last year, her and my grandmother were there together, and this is our first Mother's Day without my grandmother. And so my mom, not really able to go out and socialize, and people are keeping their distance as they should. My mom sitting there processing that on her first Mother's Day alone. I talked to her. She was in great spirits, but really no way I could go see my mom.
No, and listen, your mom has such a great attitude on everything, and I know it's super rough for her this year, and every year moving forward. But we were super blessed to have your grandmother for so very long.
Yeah. It's so weird. It's a mixed feeling because my grandmother did live a great full life,
right? And it doesn't matter, right? Like
it doesn't matter. If my grandmother was 120, I'd still be like, no, it's too soon.
Absolutely,
it's too soon.
Absolutely.
And the wild thing is, we went and I went and picked up our son from college in North Carolina. It was only about an hour from my mom,
right?
But I couldn't go there.
No.
So crazy. And you know who we're even closer to is your mom.
Exactly.
She lives 5 minutes away. And I would say in the last 7 or 8 weeks, we've seen your mom. Before yesterday, we've only seen her one time.
Yeah, right.
Your mom tested positive for the virus, went through a little scary time. After your brother tested for the virus, went through an even more scary time.
Right.
And yesterday, though, we did go over and have the weirdest Mother's Day ever.
It was, but at least I was able to see her. I wasn't able to touch her. But, we had a cup of coffee and it was beautiful.
So picture the scene, nice Florida lanai covered swimming pool. And Jenny was there, her sister was there, her mother was there, her mother's husband, Frankie, was there, our son, Greg, was there, I was there, and we all had coffee out in the pool area, socially distant, 6 feet
Honey
apart.
Zoe. They were all at different tables.
Yeah, everybody at different tables. There was some mask involved. There was some coffee. And so it was really great to see your mom. But again, hard not to be able to hug and kiss on her.
Right.
And but awesome because ironically, this is the first year in 18 years we've been in Florida during Mother's Day.
Yeah. It was super special, and it was just really nice to be able to actually see her. So
it's pretty wild. Now, Florida's starting to reopen, and you can even see it in our town. We've gone out a few times. There are people everywhere. And the word is just across the state in Orlando that businesses are going to start opening up over there. Disney, like the Disney Springs, not necessarily Disney properties, but the restaurants that live there at Disney Springs, they're going to be able to reopen with some guidelines. So it's starting to happen. Now we're still staying hunkered down for the most part. When we go out, we wear masks, and fortunately for us, we're able to do our work right here.
Absolutely. And that's it. Everybody's out and about already.
Everybody's out and about, so
and that's great.
We're
right?
cautiously watching.
We have to.
Yeah.
We have to get out there.
Yeah.
I get it. But take those precautions.
Yeah. We're hoping for the best, and we're just hoping that everybody stays safe, follows the guidelines, and stays healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So disruptions all around. Like I mentioned, I went to North Carolina. I went up into the mountains of North Carolina and picked our son up at Western Carolina University. That dude graduated college, and because of the pandemic, you barely know it.
I know.
This is such a tragic time for graduations, for people completing something significant in their life. The grades came in, he graduated, he's got a cap and gown, but no ceremony, no celebration, no ability to have a party.
No, and no ability, right, to celebrate, like you said, what he's accomplished, and quite honestly, what we have been on the sidelines helping him accomplish.
It's so sad. It's so sad. At the same time, another one of our sons graduating high school this year. He's graduated.
That's right.
Again, without much fanfare, it's such a major high school graduation, college graduation, such major things, and it's all relative, right? There are people that are challenged because of sickness, people losing people in their family, but it doesn't diminish the fact that these are some major things that are going on that are going basically unrecognized, and so it's very sad, at least for families that are going through this, and it's happening all over.
Yeah, and it's sad, right? Because I can look back, and even though I've graduated, say high school 30 years ago, I still remember that day.
I know, it's so significant.
I remember having the conversation with the guy that I was walking down with, and, because we did like female male, and I remember the conversations. I remember every conversation I had with my, the other students.
How many people in your high school graduating class?
I want to think there was about 600.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That was same for us. 600. They gave 4 diplomas out at a time. So they called out.
Wow.
They had like the way our school.
Then ours may have not been 600 because it was one at a time.
Yeah, the way our school is our high school was split into 4 schools inside the school.
Oh wow.
North, south, east, and west, and each of those had their own principal. And so when we graduated high school, they would call, and those were split up alphabetically, and so they would call one person from north, one south, one east, one west.
Oh, wow.
And you would all walk up to that principal. Yeah, it happened, like they did it in an arena in downtown Nashville.
Ours was on the football field of our high school. And, like you said, like they're not going to be able to throw up their, hats at the same time. And, but the beautiful thing is that our 2 kids, one will graduate from college in 4 years, and the other one will graduate from grad school in 2 years. So we will be able to help celebrate with them. So
yeah, and it's the other thing that this is teaching us is you don't have to have a ceremony, you don't have to have a party to be super proud.
Right.
And we are super proud of all of our kids, and kudos to those 2 that are doing some milestones.
2020, woo woo.
The class of 2020.
That's right.
That's pretty interesting. So the other thing, we've had a lot of takeout food, but we've not eaten in a restaurant in
long time.
2 months, right?
Right.
And that's weird. So so the thing is, like, I was thinking about it today. I say it a lot, like, oh, life's not that much different for us because we work at home. We don't really ever have to leave the house. But there are things like, we like to go to the thrift store. We haven't gone thrifting. We haven't,
garage selling.
Just hanging out with friends, meeting people that watch these videos. All that stuff has come to a standstill.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
It's very sad.
Yeah, and so, hopefully it'll change soon. Again, we're not really... there's a couple schools of thought. There are people that say that it would be better for more people to get the virus and then to build up some sort of immunity to it. And then there's a school of thought that says for people that are in the risk categories, you just don't want the virus.
No, which we are,
Yeah.
So I think that's what's a little scary, right? And some of our, friends that want to meet up, they just cannot understand why we can't.
Yeah.
And
we've had a little bit of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it makes me sad, right? Because I want to, how I'm a hugger, I'm a kisser, and I want to meet up with our people.
The wild thing for me is, and sometimes I get in my own head and I think about things, but who knows why all of this has happened, right? Freak of nature, that kind of thing. But there is some, the data's coming in that people that don't really take care of their health, that don't exercise, that don't really control their weight, are more susceptible to this. And so this could be one of those moments where the universe is trying to shake people who, and we're not the best at it, right? Mm-hmm. We're not like, oh, I should exercise and I should eat less. We're not really the best at that from a mindset perspective. I think maybe the universe is kind of maybe trying to shake some people up and say, look, this is what you got to do.
Right.
Again, it could happen to anybody, but as the numbers are coming in, it's a challenge for people that are overweight.
Right. And having one of our sons home, he wants to run and swim every day, so maybe that'll push us a little bit. And and he likes to eat healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't even know what that means.
I don't even.
I think that means having vegetables on your pizza instead of 3 meats. Like, here's the thing.
No, it's not.
You have an eating problem when you're like, look, instead of sausage, pepperoni, and ham, mm-hmm. I'm going to go sausage, pepperoni, and green pepper because I got to do it healthy.
That's right.
I think that qualifies, right?
No.
Yeah, and I never tell them to take the lettuce off my double hamburger because you gotta have
some kind of healthiness in there.
You gotta have the vegetable
in moderation.
The vegetable. Yeah, so a lot of things changing, and it's going to be interesting to me to see. Again, the world's opening up again, and we're paying attention to what's going on mm-hmm. down here. We're trying to stay safe. We hope everybody out there trying to stay safe. Also, we still have a cruise in July on the books.
We do.
A Royal Caribbean cruise.
July 18.
Out of New Orleans, a group cruise. I'm not sure 100%, like nobody is, whether that cruise is going to go off or not, but that one's pretty close. So I suspect within the next couple of weeks we'll get a good idea of whether that's going to cancel.
I would think sometime this week we'll
find out.
They'll announce something, I would hope.
We'll find out. But yeah, so most of the news when it comes to cruising, not that great.
No.
Not that great. So I thought, in addition to talking about things that have changed because of the pandemic, mm-hmm. I thought it would be interesting just to have a little conversation about what do you like better?
What do you mean?
You're going to find out.
Okay.
Let's start with something easy.
All right.
Brooklyn-style pizza or Chicago deep dish?
I mean, Brooklyn.
What do you like better and why?
Brooklyn, because it's not as doughy.
It's not as doughy.
Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to trip you up there to see if it's just purely a Northeastern thing. So you prefer your pizza to have less crust.
Right, because I like the thin. Yeah. I like thin, triangle, oily New York pizza.
You're leaving out the main word. I mean, I think this whole...
Cheesy.
No.
What?
Foldable.
Foldable.
This is what it comes down to me. If I've got to eat my pizza with a knife and fork, which sometimes I like to do, I don't think that that's wrong.
Well, the Sicilian pizza is good for that.
Yeah, I don't know. We had a Sicilian pizza this last week. I didn't like it.
No, the crust.
I didn't like it, but I do like a Chicago deep dish. I'm a Midwestern boy, but to me, it's a different beast. It really is a knife and a fork. It's good crust. It's a lot of cheese. It's full of meat. But if I'm gonna have one topping, if I'm gonna have a pepperoni slice, I want that to be cheesy, greasy, foldable.
Absolutely.
All right, that was an easy one.
Yeah, that was easy.
That was an easy one. Now
that's a no-brainer for me.
This one going to be a little more difficult.
Okay.
So since we moved, we were significant Starbucks coffee fans.
Yes.
This was our coffee of choice in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
This was our coffee of choice in Charlotte.
Yes.
When we're road tripping to cruises, we would stop at Starbucks.
Right.
Now that we've moved to Florida, there is a Dunkin' Donuts within a mile of our house, and you have an old relationship with Dunkin' Donuts. This
Absolutely.
was your favorite coffee. And so you've got me drinking iced coffee from Dunkin' Donuts since we've moved here.
Right, because they're closer logistically.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Maybe a little cheaper.
A little more reasonable.
So recently, we were gifted a Starbucks gift card.
Right.
And so when I went on that road trip to North Carolina, I resumed my relationship with Starbucks.
And you called me right away and said you were cheating on Dunkin' Donuts.
I called you from the road because the iced coffee I got from Starbucks was head and shoulders better than Dunkin' Donuts. So let me put you to the test. Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, which do you like better?
So that's hard to say. Number one.
Now, this ain't easy.
No. So I recently also, yesterday for Mother's Day, you bought me a Starbucks, right?
Yeah.
And I normally love white chocolate mocha. I hated it.
Well, this is
It was horrible.
This is another thing that I've changed you from. Jenny used to only get hot coffee, but now I've introduced her to iced coffee.
Right, but when I get hot coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, it's wonderful. It's like heaven. Now, I have to say, the iced coffee, when we were just getting it from Dunkin' Donuts and you didn't have Starbucks in the mix, it was good.
Yeah.
Right? And it's reasonably priced, much more reasonably priced. Like almost half is it almost half? Almost half the price, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Starbucks is expensive. Starbucks is way too expensive.
So I'm going to say taste, yes. Starbucks is a little bit better. The coffee is much different. You know, like one is very strong.
Yes.
And you can taste that coffee. And the other one is strong, but it has like a little bitterness, which I like. Because when they put their sugar and their cream in it, it offsets it. So, I mean, like, yeah, I like the iced coffee better from Starbucks. But I will take Dunkin' Donuts head over heel, I mean, all the time.
All right, so this seems a little wishy-washy. We're in the car.
Okay.
We're driving south trying to get to Port Canaveral.
Right.
You pull off the exit. There's a Starbucks. There's a Dunkin' Donuts side by side. You're driving. I'm asleep. It's your decision. You can't ask me. What are you pulling into?
If I want hot coffee, I'm going to go to Dunkin' Donuts. If I want cold coffee, it's going to be Starbucks.
Hot coffee, Dunkin', cold coffee,
and there's
Starbucks.
Another aspect to Dunkin' Donuts hot coffee, they mix it for you.
Yes.
You know, whereas Starbucks does not.
Well, like if you're just getting coffee.
Right.
Not a mix, not a
Right, because
espresso
sometimes
drink.
I don't want the whole, white chocolate mocha thing. So, they don't mix it for you. And I tell you who has another good iced coffee is McDonald's.
That's what I was going to say. Where does McDonald's, Starbucks, Dunkin' all in a row, and you're driving, where do you go?
Iced coffee, I might pull into McDonald's.
Because it's half the price.
Absolutely. Of all of them. And like a third of, Starbucks.
That goes back to the interior versus the balcony. Sometimes you'd rather go on 3 cruises than one, and sometimes you'd rather have 3 iced coffees than one.
Right.
That makes, I didn't drink iced coffee until McDonald's had iced coffee. That was my gateway iced coffee. Mm-hmm. The large hazelnut iced coffee was from McDonald's.
That was your go-to.
Was my gateway. Mm-hmm. I would never get Starbucks.
No.
You were always like,
because it was always so expensive.
You're like, always, let's go get Starbucks. I'm like, I'm not getting a Starbucks. I'm not doing it. And I never really liked the Frappuccinos or anything like that. But eventually I got onto the iced coffee. Okay, fine.
Is that fair?
It's fair.
Okay, now, how about you? If we're driving to Port of Miami, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's are all in a row, where are you pulling in?
Starbucks.
Oh.
Every time. It was so good. Like when I had it, I really, I don't.
When you drank it, did you hear?
Yeah, the angels sang. Look, we've been in pandemic lockdown mode. I'm pulling up to the drive-thru, got my mask on. I'm interacting with the mask there. I get my coffee. I sanitize my hands. I take the straw out. I wipe the straw down. I sanitize my hands. I get my, I pay with my phone, so I got to hook my phone back up so I can keep listening to the Howard Stern show while I'm trying to stay awake for this long drive. I finally get back on the interstate. I'm like this. I don't like to be distracted before I get on the interstate.
Right.
So I can't drink or eat anything from the time that you leave the establishment till you get on the interstate.
Right.
I get on the interstate. I take that first sip. The skies open. The angels did sing. And the first thing I did, I got mad at you. I mean, I just want to say.
Oh, no.
I called. I couldn't get you because I know you're busy with these cancellations and stuff like that. And I was like, you have to call me as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. And when you called me, that's what I said, right?
Yes, that's exactly what you said.
I said, Jenny, you've led me down the road of deception.
He did.
It's good. I mean, it's just coffee. But sometimes, sometimes when you haven't had something for a while, you forget.
Well,
it's like that old Cinderella song. You don't know what you got till it's gone.
That's very true.
That's right.
Well, and you know what? Let's also go back to this coffee dilemma, right?
The dilemma, yes.
I will not brew Dunkin' Donuts coffee at home.
We've tried.
It has got to be Starbucks.
Yeah, so when it comes to home coffee, now, again, Starbucks is more expensive.
It is a lot more expensive.
We've run the gamut of home coffee. Now, we're not, nothing against Folgers, Maxwell House, all that. We're too snobby to
chock
get
full
that.
of nuts.
No, chock full of nuts is off the. It's weird. It's on the side road of coffee. So even chock full of nuts, which is inexpensive, we'll have that because it's not a name brand. I don't know how we got so coffee snooty. Chock full of nuts. What's the 8 o'clock coffee?
Yeah, I don't like that one so much.
But it's always BOGO at Publix. So we've run through the gamut of having the 8 o'clock coffee.
You know what's good too is the new out of Louisiana. We bought some of that coffee. I can't remember the name of it, but that's good also. But like chock full of nuts, it's funny because
Bustelo.
It just brings back so many memories. Yeah. You know, like when you smell it, just all I can think of is my grandmother and grandfather.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, just to see the smile on Jenny's face, and we've tried the Dunkin' coffee at home.
Absolutely.
But to see the smile on Jenny's face, I'll drop $1 or $2 extra to get the Starbucks.
Yeah, I mean, like one of our sons even knew and brought home like 2 big bags of fresh beans.
Yeah,
Starbucks.
And we used to use the Keurig, and that's kind of expensive to go per cup.
Yeah.
And so now we just we blew out our old coffee machine. We just got a new coffee machine, but but first coffee, it's a big deal at our house.
It really is.
But I don't know. I got to save up for the Starbucks. I'm still cheap, right? Like I said, I don't know that I'd have gone to Starbucks if I didn't have the gift card.
No, but I tell you what, like I'm super annoyed a little bit with Starbucks and their reward program.
They change it all the time.
They do. So it used to be easy, right? Because you could just peel it off of the
stars on the bags, yeah.
Yeah, like now you have to keep your who keeps we don't keep our receipts.
No. Yeah, that's the heads up. If you're buying Starbucks coffee at the grocery store, you have to keep your receipt to get the star rewards.
Silly.
To get the star rewards. All right, so coffee. Another big deal that we talk about sometimes is hot dogs.
Oh my goodness, yes.
All right, so look, growing up eating hot dogs, I ate Oscar Mayer hot dogs.
Right,
and when we wanted to...
You have to remember we grew up in different areas of the country.
Let me give you my hot dog history.
Okay, do.
So when I was a kid, my grandma had these red hot dogs. I don't even know what they are, but they were as pink as could be.
Wow.
And you put them in the water and you boil them and they turned pink.
Oh, wow.
Now, my parents, they would do Oscar Mayer. My dad liked to beer boil hot dogs. I always thought that was cool when I was a kid, that I would get to eat something that was made in beer. And then when the Ballpark Frank came out, my family upgraded to the upper echelon of hot doggery with the Ballpark Frank. But my grandma, my Nana, always had these pink hot dogs. And then when I played Little League Baseball, they had those pink hot dogs with canned chili. To me, that was the best hot dog experience ever. The 25-cent Little League. I just played the most amazing game as a catcher behind the plate. Give Tony 2 hot dogs. But then when I met you, you started turning your nose up. You said, Oscar Mayer? What? Ballpark Frank? What is it? What? And so now I've been introduced to the world of Nathan's Hot Dogs, Sabrett, and Hebrew National.
Well, and listen, growing up, there was those were our go-tos, right?
Yes.
But my dad, on very special occasions, we would get Boar's Head hot dogs.
Boar's from the
deli.
deli.
And you could only get them from the deli. and a hot dog was a big deal to my father.
Yeah.
You know, like growing up near Coney Island, and and he's like, Jenny, if it doesn't have the skin and the crunch, it's not a good hot dog.
It's not a good hot dog. So, look, now I'm a little bit of a hot dog snob, but let's put the 3 in play that we like to get.
Okay.
Nathan's. Now, there's only certain Nathan's I'll get. Nathan's makes kind of a thick, short dog that doesn't have a casing on it. There's no snap.
Right.
So I always got to go for the bun length with the casing that's got the snap. Same thing, Hebrew National. I got to get the long Hebrew National. I like the all beef. That's got the snappy, and then I don't know whatever Mojo Sabrett's is.
Sabrett's is so good.
They're so good. So if you're at the grocery store and they're all the same price, what are you putting in the cart? Are you putting
Sabrett?
Sabrett all the way,
all day long.
I think the first time I had Sabrett was at your mom's house when we were dating. Mm-hmm. Sabrett all day long. Now, I say traditionally, like we shop at Publix, so traditionally I buy Nathan's the most because there's a lot of times that Nathan's will be BOGO.
Right.
And then I like Hebrew National a lot.
I like Hebrew National
and
as
so
well,
whenever Hebrew National's on sale, I will grab the Hebrew National. I don't think I've ever experienced the Boar's Head Deli hot dog.
Oh, no, you have not yet.
We should do that.
Absolutely.
We should do that. Now, there is a little bit of contention. Now, the cool thing for me when you eat dogs that aren't that high quality, I didn't care because my modus operandi for eating a hot dog is to put some cheese and some chili and some yellow mustard on
He ruins it.
on a very soft bun. I'm very particular. The buns
now you can have the
buns
chili
can't
and
even
the
be slightly stale.
No. But the chili and the cheese, those should go on an Oscar Mayer.
They should go on a cheap hot dog, right?
Right.
So
that's just kind of how I feel, right?
Yeah.
Like, you want to taste that Frankfurter.
So what's your favorite way to dress a dog?
Probably spicy mustard and sauerkraut.
Spicy mustard and sauerkraut. Mm-hmm. So if I'm not eating chili cheese,
onions. You ever have the onion and the
ketchup? You've made that before. That's a Nathan's thing.
Absolutely. I love that.
I'm kind of funny. Like, I'm going to get hit for this, but whenever I go to a barbecue where people kind of make the dogs on the grill where they're slightly burnt or whatever, there's nothing better than a soft bun. Say there's no chili cheese available.
Right.
I love the taste of ketchup mustard on a slightly burnt hot dog that came off a grill. I think those two things work together. I know that ketchup's a no-no in most circles.
But you know what? Like I'm gonna agree with you, right? When it is a barbecue and it has that little crispiness and that little burnt taste, which is absolutely wonderful.
Ketchup plays off of.
I want relish and mustard. Because the relish will give it like a little sweetness.
Do you like sweet relish or dill relish?
I like both.
Yeah.
Like if it's a barbecue, I want sweet, and if it's just that I'm making it on the stove, I want the dill.
The dill pickle.
Do you boil? That's a thing too, right?
Until I met you.
You can boil, you can fry, or you can barbecue. Yeah.
So until I met you, I was only boil and grill. Now, grill's a pain in the butt sometimes if you don't have a grill or anything like that. So I've probably ate more boil. That was it for me. Like my chili cheese dogs, boiled hot dog, soft bread, good chili cheese. But I don't have to have good chili. Like, that 30-cent hot dog sauce.
He loves it.
I don't know what that is. I'll eat that all day long. Mm-hmm. But but no, I do like it because you kind of pan fry it in butter.
Right.
We make healthy food here at the house.
I have to say, it's very little butter.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of the juices that come in the package. I just put it all in the pan.
Yeah, I had a buddy that worked at Nathan's, and he told me that the key for the Nathan crispiness on the dog is they would move them a lot. They would turn them, flip them, and that's the way you make. That's what you do in the pan. You turn them a lot. So I think what you're going for almost is that grill crispiness.
Oh yeah.
Because you do get that in the pan. Mm-hmm. Now, out in the world of fast food, the best hot dogs, at least right now that I know of, Cookout.
Yeah. Even better than Hardee's, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think Cookout because it does taste like the barbecue.
Oh yeah, that's right. I do. I used to get. Yeah, I like them. Mm-hmm.
So this is an argument that we never seem to settle. That argument's a strong word. This is a debate that we never seem to settle. When it comes to fast food, we know the big ones: McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Hardee's. Who's got the best hamburger out of those?
So I love the mushroom and Swiss burger from Hardee's.
Right.
So I have to go with Hardee's for that. But if you guys say just burger, like just a plain burger, is that what you're saying?
Burger with the pickle, ketchup, and mustard.
It's got to be Burger King.
Burger King. That's what I think.
Yeah.
That's what I think. No, you know, I used to have this discussion with my parents. I did work at Burger King, so I'm a little biased that way. But my parents were Wendy's fans. They thought if you were going to get a cheeseburger, they liked Wendy's. But I do like the flame broiled burger with this, you know.
Yeah. All right, now I got one for you.
Yes.
Cold cuts.
What's a cold cut?
Well, what do you call it?
No, I'm just
lunch
teasing.
meat?
No, yeah, I do call it lunch meat. I know what you're talking about.
So, cold cuts.
Yes.
Are you getting it sliced behind from the deli, or are you buying the prepackaged?
Depends what I'm getting.
Okay.
I like my roast beef and salami from the deli.
Right.
Or pepperoni slice. But if I'm just getting some ham, I can get ham out of the prepackaged. Definitely bologna I'm getting prepackaged. Turkey, I don't even care about turkey at all. Like, I care about turkey so little that I don't care where it comes from.
Yeah.
What about you? You're a little snobby that way. Even your
I am.
even your cheese has to come from the deli.
Yeah, I'm super. Not that, and I don't
Why
even
does
feel,
cheese have to come
I
from
don't
the
feel
deli?
like I'm snobby. I just like it fresh.
Yeah, I understand.
You
Snobby
know.
might be the wrong word.
Yeah, and
You have a sophisticated lunch meat palate.
I mean, I guess it's, because in New York, you go into a deli and you just get everything sliced.
The problem is, and the thing that's frustrating in the New York is probably no more than the prepackaged stuff.
Right.
But down here, it's like such a luxury to have somebody cut your meat
Yeah, which is
that
crazy
it's
to me.
more expensive. You
Yeah.
know, there's always a pressure for me too when you go up there. Like ham, there's like 15 hams. They're like, hey, could I get a half pound of ham? And they're like, well, which kind? I don't know, just ham.
So it's weird, right? Because I of course like the cold cuts boar's head,
Yes,
right? Like they are hands down numero uno.
the gold standard.
They are expensive though.
They're expensive.
So like if I'm at Walmart, I'm getting boar's head. If I'm at Publix cold cuts are not bad.
Yeah.
So like it just depends on what's on sale. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
How about this? When it comes to cars,
Okay.
do you like cars just for the fact that what's the most important feature for you on a car? How do you pick a car?
How do I pick a car?
You tell me about cars all the time. You're like, "Oh, this is a nice car. That's
know,
a
I
nice
love
car."
cars.
Right. So
I love looking at cars
when
and
you
I
say
love
that's a
looking at
nice-
houses.
Yeah, when you say that's a nice car, what do you like?
I like shiny. I like nice wheels and rims, and I like them to be nice and clean and shiny.
Yeah.
On the inside, it's got to have like a very beautiful, like, deck, like
Yeah.
a up front. I don't know, sunroofs. I love the sunroofs that go. I don't know. Like there's sometimes like I'm so into beautiful SUVs, but then like you see like the other night I was out and I saw like a Camaro, and like a brand new Camaro, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have a new Camaro someday again. Because growing up, that's all I had driving, right? Were Camaros. So like, yeah, I like a fast, beautiful Camaro.
So out of all the cars that you've driven or owned, what's been your favorite car?
I have to probably like right now. I love my SUV.
Yeah.
I have a little Equinox. But I also I had like a 82 Firebird at one point. It was blue. I loved it. So probably right now my SUV.
Yeah.
But like when I was a kid, my Camaros for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. How about you?
So the main thing that I'm looking for when it comes to picking out a car is the radio.
That's true. That's the truth.
Like I want the car. I want to be able to. I want to be happily distracted by music or talk while I'm driving.
Right.
Because I don't like to pay much attention while I'm driving anyways.
Right.
Not in a dangerous way, but in a, like, you know, I can handle the driving. I need to be distracted a little bit by the music or the thing to keep myself sane.
And awake.
And awake. Yeah, awake's a big one for me. So I want something that's comfortable, that the cabin, the cockpit's big enough that I fit in well.
Right.
And then I want to be able to easily get information from my phone, like music or a podcast or an audiobook. I want to get that easily from my phone into the car and out the speakers. And so there was a time where we purchased a Nissan Sentra, which I didn't care anything about.
Oh, so pretty.
The only reason we purchased that car is because it had an aux in. This was before the days of Bluetooth pairing and before the days of hooking your phone up USB style. The fact that I could go audio out on my phone or MP3 player to audio into the car was magic.
Did we buy that new or used?
It was used. Like I'm a big used car.
Yeah.
So like right now, both of our cars are like 7 or 8 years old. And the new technology that I really love is the CarPlay, the Apple CarPlay.
I know it.
The rental car,
amazing.
The rental car I took to North Carolina, I could just plug in my phone, and it was all my maps from my phone. It was all my apps. That would probably be the only thing that motivates me to get a new car, is just to get Apple Play.
I agree.
And unfortunately or fortunately, I have to control this in myself. I like to drive fast. Right. Now, I know that nobody believes that, right? Because I had a college professor that one day stood up in class. This changed my life. I've had a lot of speeding tickets.
Right.
I've gotten speeding tickets after I've been somebody who quit being a speeder. Like when I was young, I would speed and I would get in wrecks and I would get tickets and I would speed. And everybody said I had that Barnett lead foot. Everybody said the Barnett lead foot. Now, when I was about 20, I took a class with Professor McDougall. And Professor McDougall stood up one day and he said, "I will never get a speeding ticket again." And everybody went, and he was trying to prove a point.
Right.
And I went, no, he was also my counselor or my advisor. He was my advisor.
Wow.
And I had a good rapport with him. I said, "Mr. McDougall, that you can't say that. Like, you just don't know.
Right.
You just don't know. Like, you never know when the man's going to get you. You don't know." And we had this debate, and he's like, "No, I'm pretty confident." And I'm like, "No, you can't be. Like, life isn't that certain." We had these metaphysical conversations. And finally he looked at me and he said, "Yeah, I just don't go over the speed limit."
That's right.
And I was like, "Oh, you have that choice?" And he's like, "Yeah, you have that choice." So I have caught more grief in my life for driving slow than driving fast, I would say, since we've been together.
Right.
Because I've had relatives, are you going to drive slow this whole trip? Are you going to drive slow? And I always think of Mr. McDougall saying, "I'll never get a speeding ticket again." And the way the universe keeps me in check on that is the times that I do speed, what happens?
You get a ticket.
I get a ticket.
That's right.
Like I've gone years without going over the speed limit, and then like the very first time, it seems like that, the very first time I go over the speed limit,
right,
I get a speeding ticket. Jenny drives like a crazy person all the time, no speeding ticket.
Well, I get pulled over.
Yeah, but no speeding ticket.
Yeah.
All right. So cars for me, I really do look at it as just a way to get around.
But can I just add something to this? So I do speed.
Yes.
I'll admit, and I've really lately I've been driving a little slower.
Yeah.
Right.
It's an age thing, right?
It is an age thing, but I want to say the last time I got a ticket was a couple of years ago.
Yes.
And I promise you, son was in the car, and even he said I wasn't speeding. I got a ticket, and I know I wasn't speeding.
I think that was the universe.
It was. Like, it was all catching up to me because I was driving your car, which is like a little, it's a little Volkswagen Beetle. It looks fast. It is fast. Yeah. But I was actually not speeding because it was late at night, and I couldn't really see. But this car flew past me. It was a minivan. So who does the cop think was speeding was me. So
yeah, so I guess to be fair, the last car that I solely picked out for myself is my Beetle. And my dream car is a Volkswagen microbus. Like,
Right.
I would love that to be.
And they're coming.
They're
Aren't
coming
they
back.
out? Are they out?
There's
yet?
a new hybrid that's coming
Yeah.
out. But I do like the Volkswagen Beetle. So I was in the Volkswagen dealership, and I got in this turbo Beetle, the new model, and they had the radio turned up loud, and I'm like, okay, this is like a good radio. And so the fact that it's turbo injected, that it's black, that it's got a drop top, those are just additional.
Those are the
bonuses.
only things he was thinking about, right? Because we have 6 kids, and it only holds really 2 people.
This was after a time where we're not driving 6 kids around. So don't let Jenny fool you. This is a time where we're not driving 6 people around. I bought that primarily for us to drive around with the top down.
Yeah.
And now we're in Florida.
Yeah. Now we can use it.
That car goes fast though.
It does go fast.
I have to fight myself all the time. I have to fight myself.
And it does have a great radio.
It does have a great radio.
It really does.
It does have a great
We're not getting rid of that car. We'll get rid of the Equinox before that.
Let's finish this discussion on cruising topic. When it comes to cruising, when it comes to picking a cruise ship, what are you looking for?
So of course the first thing I'd look at is how many days it is, the length.
Yeah.
I look at the price.
Yeah.
Then I look at where it's going.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I look at how many days. I look at the price. I look at the ship, and then I look at where it's going.
Right. Days, price, ship.
Right.
So your first criteria, like, what are you looking? 7+ days.
Right.
7+ days.
Yeah.
Less than $100 a night per
person. Mm-hmm.
And then you're not hung up on the ship being super new, right?
No.
Yeah. And then it doesn't really matter where it goes.
No.
So for me, I'm ship first.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be a new ship. And then, like, I want it to
That's why I don't worry about it, because I know you do.
I want it to be built in the last, 5 years.
Right.
But I don't care about anything else, really. Like, do they have good shows?
Right.
That's the only thing. Yeah, I don't, like, cruise line doesn't even come into play for me right now.
Not me either.
I don't know. Interesting stuff. There's a lot of different things. Seinfeld or Friends? Classic 90s comedies.
Seinfeld.
Do you like...
How about you?
Seinfeld, of course. Okay. Let's see. Do you like...
Pina colada?
Pina colada. Would you rather... Like, when it comes to ice cream, would you rather have a gallon of chocolate or a pint of Cherry Garcia?
Cherry Garcia.
You'd rather have the fancy ice cream?
Yeah.
Less of the fancy ice cream than the quantity?
You?
Yeah, because I don't need a lot of ice cream.
Right.
So I do like the Cherry Garcia better.
Yeah.
The Ben and Jerry's is also like the Starbucks versus everything else.
Really?
It's kind of
real.
It's kind of the high end. Would you rather have a nice TV or a wonderful dining room set?
A dining room set.
A dining room set. Would you?
Yours is TV, right?
Yes, and
Yeah.
I'll make the case all day long. It's utility. Like, we use the TV way more than we use the dining room set.
Right.
And so I do believe this. So I'm not now. Fortunately for us, knock on wood, we've had the TV that we have in our living room since 2013.
Mm-hmm.
It's not 4K, but it's a beautiful 60-inch Samsung TV that we paid up for. And when I say we paid up, we paid about $1,500, which seemed expensive to me at the time.
Mm-hmm.
That TV is going like a champ.
It is.
And there's no need to replace it. But my thought process at the time was, I'll pay up a little more for the TV. Because I'd bought a lot of cheap TVs before that.
We have.
That broke, right? A $400 TV broke, And so I thought, look, what do we use quite a bit? We use the screen quite a bit for watching TV, for gaming, that kind of stuff. So I'll pay up for that. So I don't mind. I do believe that. Like, if you can get utility out of something, I don't mind paying up on it a little bit.
Right.
What about... vacuum cleaners. So we just retired our Dyson, which we paid a good amount of money for.
Right.
And we bought a cheaper model, which I don't even know what it is.
Me neither.
What Was it? Do you miss the Dyson?
Yes.
So the pay up on the Dyson's worth it.
Yes.
The pay up on the Dyson.
I'll tell you what I really want is I want, first, I want you to get me the robot.
You want the robot? The
That
robots are
just
taking
goes
over. The Roomba?
Yes.
Okay.
So either that or I like the Shark that's the handheld. But you know what? As I get older, I just want to, and we're so busy, I just want to put the robot on the floor and clean it.
Put it on the floor.
Yeah.
So when you lived in Florida, you had access to the theme parks.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather spend the day at Busch Gardens or Disney World?
So it depends on who I'm going with. But for me, I love Busch Gardens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you take the kids there a bit.
Absolutely, yeah.
Good for the kids.
Every weekend.
Okay, how about Busch Gardens is closed? You go into Universal Studios or Islands of Adventure versus Disney World.
I loved Universal because, again, I used to take the kids there a lot because Barney was there.
Oh, he loves you. You love me.
That's right.
So, would you take Disney over? SeaWorld?
Yes.
Disney over SeaWorld. Okay.
I mean, I like Disney, right?
Yeah.
Like you walk in and you see the castle and it's super amazing.
Yeah.
Right? You instantly feel, like for me, you instantly feel like a little princess. And it, you know, because Disney for us was very rare.
Right.
You know, living in New York. And then when we moved here, you know, I used to go a lot. So I guess I got maybe worn out from it. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Like too much exposure to it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I feel the same way. Like you used to look at me weird when I didn't want to go to Gatlinburg.
Right.
But when you live in Nashville, that's the only place that you go. And it's like,
again.
Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge.
Right.
Pigeon Forge.
Let's go to Helen, Georgia.
Helen, Georgia was fun.
I
passed
Helen,
it. That's what I passed on the trip the other day.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it reminded me when we were there with Chris and Heidi.
I know. I loved it up there. We got to go up there.
It was such a good time.
All the siblings. Let's do that.
You putting it out here on the podcast?
Yeah.
Out here on the podcast. All right, well, just a little housekeeping before we get out of here. Again, try to keep it on the light side today just because of everything that's going on in the world. I just want to let you know there is a video version of this podcast. We're going to be putting this on the main Lido Loca YouTube channel. The podcast had its own channel. We're going to retire that. We got too spread out. And so we're going to be showing the video presentation of the podcast on the main Lido Loca channel. Episodes 1 through 18, they'll be on the old podcast channel if you want to catch up on them there. But going forward, we're just going to be moving this podcast onto the main Lido Loca YouTube channel. Of course, you can listen to this podcast anywhere that you get podcasts. Please, if you are listening like on iTunes and you have a second to drop us a review, that would be great. We have put out some new t-shirts over the last week, starting to design some t-shirts. These are kind of around the pandemic. We made a t-shirt that said, "Forget people, hug a sloth."
So cute.
That's a cute shirt. And then on the funny side, talking about if you could choose, I prefer my Corona in a bottle with a lime. It's another cute t-shirt. Go check that out at our Teespring store. I will leave the link in the show notes in the description. If you need help with travel, there's still a lot of travel being booked right now for 2021, 2022. Jenny can absolutely help you out. You got a future cruise credit. You need help navigating that whole process. Reach out to Jenny. Reach out to her through email. It's jbarnette, jbarnette, at cruiseshipcenters.com. She can help you out. And then we do have some extra content. It's the Loca Extra Crew over there on Patreon. If you'd like to see some extra live streams, some behind the scenes extra video, you can support the podcast that way over on Patreon. Jenny, happy Mother's Day.
Why, thank you.
It's been an interesting last couple of days, trying to the new normal, I guess they call it.
That's right.
They do. So everybody out there that can hear us or see us, please be safe. Keep your family safe. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name's Tony.
And I'm Jenny.
And we are Lido Loca. And until the next time.
We'll see you on the Lido.
We'll see you on the Lido.
Bye.
Bye.